guys know how I was thinking about having my nubbin removed?
Oh, that is brand new information.
Wait, if it's nothing, why would you have it removed?
It's not a nothing, Joey. It's a nubbin. And he referred me to his wife. Could that be more illegal?
Hey guys.
Hey, Ross.
Hey, Ross.
So today's my first lecture and I'm really nervous. Do you mind if I practice on you?
Yes, that would be great, Ross.
Yeah.
We love
great.
your speeches.
Awesome, thanks man. There are 3 different phases in the Stark Law. The first phase is...
Oh, this is it. This is what's going to kill me.
Position rules designed to enrich physicians rather than those in patients' best interests. When was it founded? Stark 1, introduced in 1989 and became effective in 1992. Stark 2, expanded in 1993.
Wait a second. Aren't you a paleontologist?
You know what makes this a whole lot less boring?
Thanks, Rachel.
Is if you add some visuals.
The Stark Law is a federal law that prohibits a physician from referring Medicare patients for designated health services to an entity with which a physician has a financial relationship unless an exception applies. It also prevents referrals designed to enrich physicians rather than those in patients' best interests. The first phase of the Stark Law, known as Stark Law Phase 1, was originally included as part of the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1989, which barred self-referrals for clinical laboratory services under the Medicare program, effective January 1, 1992. Phase 2 of the Stark Law was included as part of the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993, which expanded the restriction to a range of additional health services and applied it to both Medicare and Medicaid. This legislation also contained clarifications and modifications to the exceptions in the original law. The Phase 3 rule was published on September 5, 2007 and became effective December 4, 2007. This law applies to these doctors that provide health care to individuals with Medicare or Medicaid. It does not apply to mid-level providers such as PAs and nurses, or for patients that do not have federal health insurance. Immediate family members of the doctor are included in the Stark Laws in order to close some loopholes. This prevents a doctor from benefiting indirectly through an immediate family member. The Stark Law is primarily regulated by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Additionally, it is partially regulated by whistleblowers, the Office of Inspector General, and the DOJ. An example of a whistleblower is an office worker who reports a physician to CMS for violating the Stark Law. The OIG can seek civil or monetary penalties or prevent providers from participating in federal healthcare programs. If the OIG suspects fraud upon investigation, the OIG can refer cases to the Department of Justice. Does anyone know about the Anti-Kickback statute?
Oh, I know.
Yes, Monica?
Okay, well.
The Anti-Kickback statute is that law that makes it a criminal offense to knowingly and willfully offer, pay, solicit, or receive any remuneration to induce or reward referrals of items or services reimbursable by a federal health care program. The statute is violated where remuneration is paid, received, offered, or solicited purposefully to induce or reward referrals of items or services payable by a federal health care program. The Anti-Kickback statute was put into place to protect Medicare and Medicaid from increased costs and abusive practices that are a result of providers acting in self-interest. Additionally, the law limits costs, preserves freedom of choice, and competition. The Anti-Kickback statute was originally enacted in 1972 to protect patients and federal health care programs from fraud and abuse. The Social Security Amendment in 1972 induced the original anti-kickback legislation. The anti-kickback statutes apply to all healthcare professionals that provide care to individuals with any type of federal health insurance. Unlike the Stark Law, the anti-kickback statutes apply to physician assistants. Enforcement of the anti-kickback is generally the same as the Stark Law. However, for criminal or civil action, the DOJ works in conjunction with Federal Bureau of Investigations to further investigate and prosecute if the Stark Law is in conjunction with violations of the anti-kickback statute or the False Claims Act.
Thank you for that, Monica. Anyway, state laws in relation to these two federal laws are very similar. For the most part, as states created their self-referral laws, they fell into one of these three categories. The laws were either a replica of the Stark federal law, they forbid all self-referrals, or they only required physicians to reveal their interest in the referral to the patient. Virginia falls under the first category, where its laws are basically identical to the Stark law. Virginia's anti-kickback laws are mainly the same as the federal laws too, including laws such as hospitals cannot give bribes or payments to physicians to promote referrals to their hospital, and providers cannot receive or charge for a higher rate of service if it is provided under medical assistance, for example, Medicare or Medicaid. Currently, including Virginia, 36 states have anti-kickback laws, and 34 states have self-referral laws. Here is a recap of the differences between the two laws. Although similar in purpose, the anti-kickback statute imposes even more severe penalties. This law makes it a felony for anyone who receives a form of payment in return for referring a patient to another for Medicare or Medicaid covered services. Violating the act comes with a heavy penalty, a felony conviction punishable up to a fine of $25,000 and or 5 years in jail. The Stark Law only applies to physicians, whereas the anti-kickback statute applies to everyone. Stark Law is a strict liability law. No intent needs to be proven to establish a violation. Anti-kickback law includes an intent element. Finally, the Stark Law is not a criminal statute, whereas anti-kickback law includes both civil and criminal penalties. And that concludes the presentation for today. Thank you. Guys, what y'all think?
I think I get it. Stark Law, Tony Stark, Iron Man.
I like that, Ross. That inspired me to write a song. This one's for you, physicians. And for those of you wondering, this is my real voice. Stark Law, Stark Law, you prohibit referrals. Stark Law, only if there's a financial relationship. To get in trouble, you must knowingly violate. Monica!
Then you will get a civil penalty.
Up to $15,000 in refunding the money. Stark Law, you don't allow designated health services. Stark Law, for Medicare and Medicaid purposes. Now, everyone, for all the federal insurances, the anti-kickback. Anti-kickback, you are broader. Anti-kickback, you prohibit more. Chandler!
To get in trouble, intent must be proven.
Knowing and willful it must have been. Take it, Joey!
Criminal fines are up to $25,000.
Civil penalties are like the Stark, but they are even more harsh. Monica!
Unless maybe an exception.